How's it going, guys? Tony here, and today we're going to talk about Missouri GameCon 4. We're going to talk about my first time experience as a vendor, and I'm also going to share my pickups. So let's check it out. Thanks for watching. Oh man, first and foremost, I just want to say, had an absolute blast in Missouri GameCon. We took the entire crew, and I mean the entire crew. Stevie was there, Bubby, Ronnie was there for the very first time, and Lucas. Lucas showed up the day of the con. And we were all there kind of mingling and just hanging out. And I had a table, had a sponsorship table / vendor table for the very first time. And I'm going to share my experience with that and whether or not I would do it again. And Missouri GameCon 4 was absolutely amazing for me. It was a totally different con, being stuck at a table all day. But I would do it again in a heartbeat because I'm in a centralized area. People that know me can come find me pretty easily and we can talk. And I made money. So yeah, it was awesome. Above making the money, it was really, really cool making connections with people and talking to my fans, talking to potential fans, and just talking video games. Talking NES, talking Sega Genesis, talking PSP, Super Nintendo, you name it. And I just had an absolute blast with that. And I'm going to tell you, I picked a really, really good year to be a sponsor vendor. It was so crazy. I was on my feet the entire day. I had a little bit of relief from Stevie and Ronnie and Bubby a little bit. But I was literally on my feet the entire day. I went to the bathroom once or twice, and I walked the vendor floor like once or twice just to stretch my legs a little bit, and that was it. And people just kept coming and coming and coming. Now, I did have a bunch of free stuff that I was giving away. To me, either it's stuff that I just don't want anymore, or it's stuff that I can't sell or trade. So I just felt like, here, have at it. Try it. If you want to try to play it, try to clean it, go for it. Knock yourself out. So I actually like that aspect. I will do that again next year. And I think that actually drew a few people in to my table and started looking at my wares, if you will. I mostly sold NES, some Super NES, some 64, GameCube, PSP, Game Boy. That was a big one. And just a bunch of odds and ends. Like, I sold a Commodore 64 Mini, complete in box, brand new. A PlayStation Classic Edition Mini. And then just a lot of strange, weird stuff that I wanted to get rid of. I sold a Sega Pico. Yeah, that was kind of cool. So, yeah, it was an absolute blast being a vendor. I did sign a lot of autographs. I got a lot of pictures or people filming me. I wasn't used to that, like other people than like Stevie, like, hey, there's Retro Tony, and people like filming me. Yeah, now there were a few couple really, really cool people that came to my booth. First of all, Hey Dad, Let's Play. We're really close friends at this point, I think. And his kids were there, so we kind of hung out a little bit. And I'll talk about him a little bit later. Do You Nerd? Do You Nerd? They're a couple, and they actually had a panel this year, and I didn't go to any of the panels. I'll talk about the guests here in a minute. Do You Nerd? They actually gave me a gift. I'll show you guys my pickups. Let's see here. Also, Pixel Dan. Pixel Dan was there, and I had no idea he was going to be there. That was actually like the biggest surprise to me to see him there, just like, oh man, there's Pixel Dan. I met him at Retropalooza last year, but it was totally awesome. I actually shared a story with him, and I'm a teacher, if you didn't know. And I did teach special education. Now I'm moving into social studies only. But when I taught special education, right around the Halloween time, I showed my students some of Pixel Dan's videos, like towards the end of the hour or whatever. And we really, really enjoyed, he had these like slime videos, and they really, really enjoyed those. They actually requested them quite often. So yeah, thank you Pixel Dan for that and your content. It was really cool to see you. Also, Gaming Off the Grid. They were there, and they were doing a $5 good game challenge. And I actually, one of them, I gave them a pretty good little deal on a NES game. I don't want to ruin it. So we'll see who wins. I'll watch that video. And yeah, I like that kind of stuff. They also got some free stuff for me too. 8-Bit Brody. I'm a big fan of 8-Bit Brody, and he's been to every single Missouri Game Con that I've been to. There's only been 4. And great guy. I love his content. It might be a little crude, rough around the edges, but I don't mind that every now and again. And I'm like, man, I have a table this year. He's probably going to come to my table this year. And I've talked to him before. I've met him before. I've actually given him several copies of Double Dribble. And I'm going to continue to do that. Literally every single copy of Double Dribble besides my own that I will find out in the wild, I'm going to give to him. That's just all there is to it. So he kept coming to my booth. He was doing that whole trade up bit where he starts with a really crappy game and then he's trying to trade his way up to try to find the best game, the most valuable game, whatever. And he came to my table probably 4 to 5 times in filming the entire time. And I couldn't believe it. I just absolutely couldn't believe it. And I actually had him sign one of the games that he traded in. I'm going to keep it in my collection. It was an absolute blast. I can't wait for that video. Also, Retro Mikey, he was there too. He came up and talked to me, maybe a possible collaboration video. That'll be pretty cool. And he also featured me in a couple of his recent videos. Check those out on his channel, Retro Mikey. And there was just a lot of cool people there. And a lot of cool people that I'm friends with on Facebook. There's a St. Louis retro gaming group. Also Missouri Game Chaser group that I'm actually admin of. And just meeting some of these people for the first time was really, really cool. And like, hey, I've seen your posts on St. Louis. And I'm like, yeah, that's you. And just making some deals with people, wheeling and dealing. I love wheeling and dealing. And I've never really been on the other end of that. And the funny thing is, there were a lot of people trying to do the same things that I've always tried to do at cons. Like, for example, there was one guy who wanted, I had a really okay Clash at Demon Head box, and he wanted that. He wanted that thing. Now, the problem with it was there was some rental stickers on it, and it was a rental box. So, but it was still decent. He's like, hey man, I really hate to ask this, and I know how this works, but is there any way I can just get the box? I'm like, sure. I mean, I've done it a million times. I've asked that question. I'm like, dude, just, here's the deal. Let's do it. And I felt like I did well. The money I made and the prices that I had my games for sale for and the deals I made. And I felt like I was pretty fair. I don't know. I also heard that there were some vendors that were too high. You're always going to have that at a con. And yeah, it was an absolute blast being a vendor. I even had Pat the NES Punk come up to my booth, my table, and look at some of my games. I'm like, this can't be happening. Because I've been watching Pat for years and years and years and years. And I've met Pat. I've talked to Pat in the past, at Retropalooza. But I'm like, this dude's looking through some of my Super Nintendo games I had in my collection. This is really weird. So, yeah, pretty cool. Other things about the con, I did talk to Walter Day. I got a photo with him. And I talked to him for quite a while. And just such the nicest guy. I really enjoy spending time with Walter. And hopefully I'll get to do some more of that in the future. I did talk to Jay of the Game Chasers. And we had a pretty good little conversation. I actually gave him the remainder of my NES dust covers that I had left over. I was just giving those away. I was like, I'm going to save some of these for Jay. And I know that he always likes to get those and use them for his collection or Billy's collection. It would have been cool to have another one of those knuckleheads along with him. either Billy or Melvor or Dodongo. I mean, I've met all those guys except for Melvor. I really want to meet Melvor. And I got to talk to him, and it was really cool. I didn't go to any of the panels this year, and that felt a little awkward. Stevie, Ronnie, and Bubby, they actually went to a few panels, and I was like, well, how were they? You know, I've heard them talk. I watched their channels, you know, so, but I got that intel from them, and from my understanding, Jay's was really, really funny. So yeah, really great con. Now, we did go to day 2 of the VIP special, like, you know, after party thing. And that one was okay. Basically, we met up in a park in this building. It was AC, of course, and we ate lunch. There were some arcade games set up. There were some, you know, 64 Super Nintendo games set up. There was even a Atari set up. And I didn't get to talk to as many people as I would have liked. There weren't as many there as I thought there were going to be. Probably about 30 to 40 people there. I didn't get to talk to, you know, Pat or Jay or Norm or any of those guys as much as I would have liked to, or even 8-Bit Brody. But I did talk to Paul Zimmerman. Really cool guy. He collects Twin Galaxy cards, Walter Day cards. And we had a very, very good conversation about surrounding cons and cons in the Chicago area. And he was basically giving me, you know, the lowdown on which ones I should check out. And, you know, if I'm interested in old arcade games, go to this one. We also had a really, really good talk about Galloping Ghosts. That's kind of been on my mind here lately, is to go check out Galloping Ghosts near Chicago. It's in Brookfield, Illinois. So, yeah, really fun. I really enjoyed spending time with the boys. We got a hotel room the night before, and they say that when I sleep, I sound like a bear. True story. And so out of the 4 of us, Bubby couldn't sleep. Bubby actually, funny story. And this will be covered in a Retro on the Bubby episode. Funny story about Bubby. So it's about 4 a.m. In our hotel room the night before Missouri Game Con. And I actually had to get up and go to the restroom. And I go towards the bathroom, and I hear water running. I was like, is that Bubby? And I looked in the beds, and yeah, sure enough, Bubby was in the hotel shower, and he said he was taking a bath and watching anime at like 4 a.m. because he couldn't sleep because of me and my sleeping. So yeah, there's a lot of stories between us. Ronnie going, that was a lot of fun. I love taking Lucas. I really do. And I want to keep doing this for as long as they want to. I'm going to continue to do it probably no matter what, as long as they keep having the event. In some capacity, I will go and try to be a part of it. And I would maybe like to have my own panel. That's something I would love to do at the con eventually, but I understand. I do love, I mean, basically, I'm getting more exposure out on the floor than, say, if I had a panel. But still, either one would be really, really cool. And yeah, if you guys are into retro video games, if you guys want to collect and find some good deals, decent deals, you've got to go to Missouri Game Con. You've got to go. It is an absolute blast, and they'll have it again next year, and hopefully they'll have a bigger venue. That would be really cool. And I didn't feel crowded because I was stuck behind a table, but from everyone that I heard, it was kind of a cluster getting through there, and it was really, really busy. I don't know how many attendees were there, but from what I understand, it was kind of a battle looking through stuff. And the very first Missouri Game Con, I mean, it was in a very, very, very small venue, but yeah. And I had to fight to basically look at any games. And from what I understand, that's kind of what it was like this time. Oh, One last person that showed up to my table, Steven Lucas. Came into my mind thinking about Missouri GameCon 1. That's when we met him for the very first time. And he came up to my table, and I would love to do some collaboration with him and possibly do an interview with him. So, alright guys, I'm going to share my pickups, and let's see what I got. And I did not spend any money on any of these, except for one thing I'll show you. So let's check it out. Okay guys, before I get into my pickups, a few shout outs. First of all, Old School Gamer Magazine. Really cool guys. I actually talked to them for quite a while and talked about maybe some possible promotional stuff, some collaboration, and they actually gave me a couple magazines. I have another one in my pickups I'll show you guys. And there's Billy freaking Mitchell. But yeah, really cool guys. Talked to them for quite a while. Gaming Off the Grid. Awesome channel, growing channel, and I've done some collaboration with them before. Really cool to see them grow. Chad Hager, this is a Walter Day card. He's a co-founder of Missouri GameCon. Thank you so much, everyone, from the bottom of my heart for running the con, the volunteers, all the founders. There's too many to name. Bob, he was one. Jake was one. Jason as well. Red Sonia, she is a streamer, and I actually met her at Trading Games the day before. We went to Trading Games and she was there, and I actually talked to her after the con too, and I got this card from her. And then Charlie Shaw, he's the founder of Missouri GameCon. They actually used to own Game Trader 2. And now it's closed down, obviously, and I believe his only focus is Missouri GameCon at this point. But yeah, thank you so much to the volunteers. Thank you to everyone who helped make Missouri GameCon a success. The vendors, the guests, the volunteers, thank you. One more little shout out here. This is a little dust sleeve. Do You Nerd? And they're a couple. And pretty cool. They gave this to me, and they actually asked me to sign one of these that they made specifically for Missouri GameCon. And the cool thing is I signed right above Jay's name, Jay the Game Chasers. So that was really humbling and really cool because I really look up to Jay. I look up to the Game Chasers, and they're the ones that kind of inspired me to do this whole YouTube thing. Alright guys, I'm going to get into my pickups. Let's see what I got. Okay guys, so the really cool thing this year, I actually have a complete box full of stuff. I did not intend on getting anything at this con, but somehow I ended up with a decent sized box of games, I guess. Now, a couple of these were trades, and actually all these were trades, I guess. And some pre-con pickups too, I'll tell you which ones. So I did a pretty hefty trade for some PC games. And I'm not a big PC, big box kind of guy. Might Magic 3. I've been told that some of these hold pretty good value. I don't know the prices of them. I kind of trusted his pricing, I guess, trade value, because we've been talking about this trade literally for about 2.5 years. And I actually traded off some. It was really funny. The vendor next to me saw that I was making this trade, and he's a big PC guy, and early 90s, mid 90s PC RPG stuff, and he had some games, and we made a deal. I'll share with you the games that I got from him. Starflight. I'm going to keep this in my collection. I actually really like Starflight. I like Starflight 2 on the Sega Genesis. So we'll keep it in the collection. Might Magic 3, I'm keeping because of the Super Nintendo game. Is really funny. Now look at this. Lemmings. I believe this is the original run of it, and I have no idea what it's worth, but I'm just going to keep it because I love Lemmings. Lemmings is one of my all-time favorite games. This I'm probably going to get rid of. Death Keep. Like, I mean, it looks okay, like on the back and stuff, but why would I want this? I don't know. Mission Critical. This is another game I'm probably going to get rid of. And a lot of this stuff was complete. Now this is funny, you know, guy from Star Trek. Yeah. This I'm getting rid of as well. Panzer General. I believe this was actually released on the PlayStation as well, but it's a strategy game. So yeah, it's like, what am I gonna do with this stuff? There's some more PC stuff. Wizardry Trilogy 2. So it's 5, 6, and 7. And I actually remember seeing this in stores back in the 90s. Let's see, when did this come out? 1992. So yeah, I remember seeing this like, I don't know, Barnes and Noble or even like Electronic Boutique. They had PC stuff. And I remember seeing this, and like I was getting into RPGs at the time. I was like, maybe I'll try this out. And I looked at it and was like, yeah, this looks too complicated. I'm not gonna do it. So I'm gonna probably get rid of that. One more PC game. There's some just inserts that need to go with their games. This is bizarre, and I may keep it just because of how bizarre it is. Jewels of Darkness. This is actually a UK game, and yeah, I mean, it looks like, you know, something very cheaply made. But yeah, I will have to do some research on this one. It'd be kind of interesting to know how much this thing's going for, and if it's a rarity or not. Yeah, and it's a different kind of box. Might and Magic Trilogy. Sealed. Just the basically jewel case. This I got trade from the vendor right next to me for some PC stuff. And we actually made a pretty good trade. This is Gargoyles on the Sega Genesis complete in box. And I actually really, really like this game. And the odd thing is, this will not play on the Sega Genesis Model 3. You have to play it on a 2 or a 1. For some reason, there's some kind of chip in here. And it was a later release. I want to say 1995? But it was a later release. So, yeah, I'm glad to have that. I will keep this in my collection. This is trade. I'm going to get rid of it. I think I already had it. Jeopardy! The Deluxe Edition. Ooh, man, trade. I think I traded that for like a Game Boy Advance game or something. Now, I have this game loose, and I didn't notice that till just now. But I got the case and manual for Toe Jam and Earl Panic on Funkatron. So that'll complete my Genesis collection, and I have every single Toe Jam and Earl game complete now. Except for, I only have the Switch one for Back in the Groove. I don't have the PlayStation 4 version. I just wanted the Switch version anyway. So that's cool. Got that in trade. Actually, that was from 8-Bit Brody. Gosh dang it, 8-Bit Brody. This I got from the vendor next door, and I will not open this. This is an NES game, I believe. Yes. Splatterhouse. And he was selling a huge stack of these. And I will not open it. It's a retro limited, release number 1, 56 of 100. So I will keep it. It'll be a nice display item, and yeah, kind of cool. Kind of cool, really. And that's kind of what I'm going for collecting wise. Anything that I think just kind of catches my eye, that's unique, odd, and it might be a possibility that I downsize my collection. That might be another topic for another day. More pickups. This was pre-con. Pico game! Sega Pico. You got Berenstein Bears, A School Day, and A Year at Pooh Corner. Wow. Really good name. So I don't see these very often. So I had to pick it up. I actually got this at Trading Game or Game Trader 2. No. Trade in Games. Sorry. Those two are like synonymous in my mind for some reason. Whenever I go to that area, the St. Louis area. But yeah, I now have 3 Pico games. Ooh, man. I really just want the Sonic one. So yeah. A few more games. I got this from 8-Bit Brody, and he said, and I quote, "You better not sell this. This is going on your game shelf." So I will hold my end of the deal. King's Field, and he really wanted to point out that the original prepaid hint card is in there, which is hard to find, and the styrofoam. So yeah, I will always keep this in my collection, Brody. So thank you, man. Thank you. Also some crap games, and we did this on purpose. Oh, this is actually cool. Mario Pinball Land. I don't own this. I'll just keep it. ATV Quad, Power Racing, Monopoly, I think. Yep, I'm not even gonna show it. And then FA18F, Super Hornet, whatever, Game Boy Advance stuff. So I don't know. I might just trade this off. Who knows? Some more odds and ends. Oh dang! Hey Dad, let's play. Gave this to me. Kind of an inside joke. You all will get it whenever Stevie actually gets around to editing an episode where he caught me slipping. But I got Zelda Wii controller. The one that came with the bundle of Skyward Sword. That's really cool. That'll stay in my collection forever. Hey Dad. So thank you. Some more odds and ends stuff. This is from Kyle the Collector. And we actually met up with Kyle in Kansas City area. And he gave me a bunch of these. Like little buttons. That's a good idea, actually. Gameco. He gave me some Gameco cards. And more buttons. That's cool. Here's a... what is that? Dang it. It's the grappling arm. Dang it. Bionic Commander. Commando? Yeah. And then last but not least here. What the heck? I don't know what that's doing in there. Oh, man. There's some more stuff that I forgot to give that other vendor. Oh, well. I'll give it to him next year. He said he'll be there. And then I got... This is the only purchase I made at Missouri Game Con. And this is a print of Hey Dad, Let's Play, one of his daughters. And I wanted to purchase one of these. And it's Trog. I actually kind of like Trog. So that's really, really cool. So those are my pickups. I literally didn't spend any money. Except for like on the Pico games. And absolute blast. Adding to the collection still. I can't believe it. Now I wanted to end on this. So this is what they made up for us who did the sponsorship table. And you got Filthy Game Room. They're on Facebook. You guys should join them. Really, really good group. Hey Dad, Let's Play. And it's really cool that I'm next to them. It's Portland Retro Gaming Expo. They were there. I didn't get a chance to talk to them. They're literally right across from me. And then just some random channel right there, Retro Tony. So yeah, I would do the whole sponsorship thing again. I'm going to support this thing as much as I can through Facebook, through my channel. I'm going to promote it, continue to promote it, because I love this community. I love connecting with you guys, even if it's just 1 to 2 days a year. I really, really enjoy it. And the people that I've met previous years, it was like, you know, I don't know, like a family reunion or something. but a lot cooler and with video games. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it next year. What are some games that you picked up? Do you plan on going to Missouri Game Con next year? And guys, I thank you so much for everyone that came to my table and just talked to me. And I thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. A little bit longer and me rambling a little bit. But yeah, thank you guys. Hope you have a great rest of your day.